All right, we are at the Driftwood Campground right now, and we are down to some of our last spots we are redoing with gravel that used to be rock. I'll flip you around and show you what I'm talking about. Sorry, I meant to say used to be grass. So all these lots along here used to be just a concrete runner, which we'll walk over here and I'll show you, with then grass on each side of the runners. So the problem that created, and as you can see, we already did all these with gravel. The problem it created is when you got campers in here sitting on these runners with grass in the middle and on either sides, it's really, really difficult to mow. So over the last, year, we've been going through, this one's kind of ugly because we got some mismatched rock, but especially down in this area down here, we have eliminated so much mowing. It has made our life so much easier. So I'll show you what I'm talking about down here. And you know, the downside to doing this is then you're gonna have weeds to spray, which we don't have a super good program yet on spraying our weeds, but it does. The weeds are better than mowing for sure. So you can see like the old concrete pads here and here. So this used to all be grass all the way down here. So just imagine every single time you have to mow, you gotta mow around everyone's stuff, their picnic tables, their rugs, you gotta weed eat around everything. So by doing this, we have eliminated so much mowing. And I also add this row down here is long-term campers. So it's not like they're leaving to where we can mow when they're gone. But that is one of the improvements we've made down here at the campground. Another thing I want to talk to you about, another improvement is we built a big wall around the front of our campground. And it's actually a levee because we are located along the Mississippi River and it floods down here. So I'm gonna take you guys over there in a bit and show you a little bit more about what we're talking about with the flood. But before that, so just one more time I'll show you. So we come through here, we dig out all the dirt, we replace it with about 6 inches of white gravel, we compact it with the roller. Once we got that smooth out, we bring this like terrazzo rock. And the reason why we go with this stuff, and we've had people comment like, oh, this stuff is not a good idea. We love it. It doesn't create dust. This is a very hard rock versus the white gravel creates a lot of dust. So this has been really good. It just taken away a lot of the maintenance, a lot of the weekly mowing and weed eating. So we just finished this one. Just finished rolling it. We got a long-term camper coming in here today, and we got 2 more to go. And we've got a couple more up here that we're gonna do, but all in all, we have almost completed this whole job and the whole campground. So campground's doing really well. It's been super fun. We'll show you guys a little bit more here in a bit. That site is ready to go. All right, what's the plan over here?
We're digging a little bit more out right behind that, getting some more black, about 3 feet more black.
What was the reason for the wall?
A little higher.
What was the reason for the wall in the first place? Or riprap?
Too steep, and when you're mowing, if you slid, you'd slide right into the trees.
Yeah, so the campers, you know, some of them come all the way back to here, and when you're mowing this hill, sometimes if you got sideways, you would end up.
This will be leveled off more. It'll come down, there'll be a level shelf right along the top.
Yeah.
These here. So it'll curve a little more gradual, come right about to here. Get rid of all this crabgrass at the edge.
Give them a little more room for the picnic table. This is a nice rig. Another project.
Another project, another day.
Another day. This is in the works of getting rip wrapped up around there. The old barn. It's coming along. All right, it feels good to have that lot done. We got a guy rolling in here in probably the next 30, 45 minutes. Gonna be living there full time for, you know, who knows how long. But yeah, I want to drive you down by this levee that we built. I shouldn't call it a levee, it's more of a berm that acts as a levee, kind of a privacy berm that acts as a levee in emergencies. This is one of the sites that we added this last year. We got 3 more sites up that hillside that we've added. We've got a guy that's been helping us do some maintenance on things like that little playground. He repainted, put a new canopy on it, new swing, all kinds of stuff. It's that really nice 5th wheel. It's always fun seeing the campers that roll in here. Got some really nice ones, sometimes some not so nice ones. But you can see that we started raising the levee like right about up there on that side, and then over here, we started right here where our sign is, which, side note, this sign is getting replaced. But let's jump out and we'll walk along here and I'll tell you about what we had going on. Okay, so that over across there is a city park, and on the other side of it is the Mississippi. It's a bay off the Mississippi, so it's really not that far away, just like 1,000 yards. And when the water gets high, because we're so close, this is all flood grounds down in here. And when the water gets high enough, this road actually will be underwater. And the first place where water would start entering our campground is this corner back here. So when water would get up, and this happens every, 3, 4 years maybe, where water would get up high enough where these lots down here would be submerged. Naturally, when campers see that there's water down here, there would be, some scared people who would get out of here, and, some people just wouldn't want to camp when they heard the water was coming up. And this is another area. All this down here used to all be grass. So we've eliminated all this mowing back here. But we, we started bringing in, I want to say we probably had over 100 large dump trucks dump dirt in here. The bottom of this ditch is probably 4 to 5 feet higher than it was before. And then obviously this, this is probably 10 to 15, well, maybe 10 to 12 feet taller from where it used to be. So take a look at, the water hydrant. That used to be 4 foot, above the ground, and now, clearly it's about level. So we brought a ton of dirt in, and then that levee wraps all the way around there. So pretty much we hold water back, and when it gets really bad, we're talking, once more every 8 to 10 years, there will be, severe flooding where this entire lower area of the campground, even these over here, the pavilion would be, part underwater, all the way up almost to the bottom of the barn. So we have actually, by building this berm, solved that problem. Hopefully, we haven't tested it yet. The water was really high here just a couple weeks ago. You can tell there's water backed up into these ditches. But when it gets really bad, what we'll do, like I said, this sign is getting replaced, but we will dump loads of sand up in here and block this entrance off, and we'll be able to hold back quite a bit of water. So really excited about having that done. We used concrete block, 2 foot by 4 foot, 2 by 2 by 4 as our, facing wall on this side, so it looks good. And then the other side is obviously dirt, and we have really heavy plastic up there. And we've had people come by and kind of laugh at what we're doing. They're like, yeah, they'll never hold out water. Well, we have actually had an engineer involved who deals with stuff like this, and they have more or less said, yep, this is definitely going to work and you're going to be good to go. So that project is pretty much done. We're raising it up a little bit higher over on that side. Some of you are probably going to say, that's illegal. You can't just build a levee without permission, which is true. You are not supposed to divert flood water. So by diverting flood water or moving it off of your property, it is going to go onto someone else's property. So the Corps of Engineers, and I don't know what other government agencies, restrict people from doing that. But we had a study done. They came in here, the engineering firm, they took drones and they scanned this whole area, measured it up, and they figured out, okay, on the Mississippi River, between Lock and Dam 21 and the other one up the river, what impact are we going to have on neighboring properties by moving our floodwater off of this property? And it was more or less zero impact, meaning that we are not going to have, we're moving so little water off of our property that it's really not going to have an effect on neighboring properties. Looks like the pool is filling up today. It's a warm day. That can't be right. It is way hotter than 79 degrees. At least it feels that way. It's really humid, but pool's filling up. People enjoying that. It's always so satisfying. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't enjoy using the pool myself, or like even really camping, down here. We've camped. I don't even know if I have camped down here. I get enjoyment from seeing other people have the enjoyment. It's just, I find the satisfaction in maintaining the ground, owning the ground, giving other people those experiences and the opportunity to have fun. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can see that there's definitely people down at the pool. Pool's probably a little bit cold. These sites along here were sites that we have developed over the last couple years. We've actually got 2 sites in here, one there, one there. Another thing, some of you might know from previous videos, we actually own some campers like that one we own, and we rent it out monthly. And then there's that whole row up there. But I'm gonna show you guys a sneak peek of what we have going up on top of this hill. So you head up this hill, you probably can't tell, it's fairly steep. You're climbing up the side of a bluff. And the campground land ends probably somewhere about in here. And then this additional ground is actually owned currently by the same guy who sold us the campground. We have an option to buy this land, and we are actually exercising that option right now, meaning when we bought the campground, we signed a paper with him saying, hey, we get the first right to buy this, and we agreed upon the price at that point. It's a little over 20 acres. It's all this field down here, all these woods back here. And what we're doing is, so we are buying it. We're in the process of buying it right now. We just had it surveyed, which you can see. We've got some stakes down the middle, because what we're doing is there's 20 acres along here. We are running a line down here, sectioning this piece off, and it is going to be zoned the same thing as the campground, and it will become the same parcel as the campground. And we will expand the campground up into this side. This half, we're not sure what we're gonna do with yet. We've got some ideas, got some things in the works, but nothing set in stone yet. So it's gonna be super exciting to come up here and start putting a road in, and we'll do a road up into here. I know it's kind of hard to tell how this all lays out just in the footage, but there'll be a road that comes up here, and then there'll be like a big old circle turnaround with campers you know, their butts sticking back all up in here. So it'll be a big old turnaround. So we should be able to get, you know, a decent amount of lots up here. And it's not like this is going to happen all at once. You know, this is going to happen over the next, you know, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. And then I'm not gonna take a right, but it goes down that way quite a ways, and then we actually could expand all the way down at the very end. There's another big area down there, but we'll see what happens there. One thing I want to make clear about this whole campground thing, it is a ton of work. You know, we've owned mobile home parks, storage facilities, multifamily housing, single families, you know, lots of different types of stuff, some commercial. The campground is a hospitality business. It's very busy, lots of moving parts. The phone rings all the time. And this campground is not quite big enough to facilitate a full-time employee. So if you're thinking about buying a campground, think about that. Like, you're gonna be buying yourself a job. And hats off to my dad. We are partners on this property, and from day one, you know, I kind of helped get things set up. I took the phone calls for, I don't know, maybe the first month. And, you know, we figured out how the software worked. And I ended up telling Dad, like, hey, we got to hire someone to do this. And he's like, you know what, I'll do it. And so he's been running this whole show down here and absolutely crushing it. You know, our numbers every year, you know, get better and better. And, you know, he's really good about trying to fill all the lots. And, you know, that is a ton of work. It's like playing human Tetris. You've got a party of 3 coming in, and you gotta, you know, one of them's got a 40-foot mobile motorhome, and so you've gotta then move another guest from one lot to the other, so all 3 of the guys coming in can all be together. And, you know, it's just, there's just so much to it that people don't, you know, even really think about. And again, hats off to my dad, because he's down here, I mean, every day, multiple times a day. And he's the one that's keeping it full. He's the one that's got the vision behind making the property beautiful. And I pretty much just get to come down here and have fun. And it's a lot of work, but it's also been so much fun to own. It's always fun getting feedback from guests. We get guests now that, well, we've started to ask for reviews when they have their departure email. When they're checking out, we're like, hey, if you could drop us a review, that'd be great. Which has been awesome to hear, you know, feedback from people. People commenting like, oh, the place is really improving. You know, you guys are putting a lot of work into it. Again, props to Dad for that. But it's just, like I said earlier, it's so much fun owning a property where other people are having fun at. And like, you are providing a place for them to make memories and spend time with family. So many of my other properties, like for instance, a storage facility, you just don't feel the same satisfaction owning a storage facility as you do a campground. Or another example would be a mobile home park. You know, the mobile home park, yes, you're providing housing, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but a lot of times when you roll into your mobile home park, it's nothing but problems, you know, drama, people needing things, which again isn't, you know, all bad. But the campground, everyone's there to have fun, and they're on vacation, or, you know, some people live there, but it's just different. The whole vibe is just so fun. So would I suggest you own a campground? Well, that's just an extremely loaded question, but yes, they're a blast. Again, you're buying yourself a job if you don't buy one big enough to, you know, be able to hire people. But anyways, that's kind of what we got going on with the campground right now. We'll love to make more videos later in the year, kind of giving you more updates on the projects we're working on. Make sure you guys check out the rest of my channel, look at some of the other projects I've done in the past, and yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.